This was a random decision. Somebody invited me to substitute in the evening classes, and I said yes. I enjoyed it. I found myself thinking about teaching, and I wanted to try it again. My initial desires professionally were to become an economist. Thank God I never became one, just because me and accounts, we don't have a good relationship. I enjoy being with people. I realized that I can explain things well, and I love English. Yes, I remember a lot of my teachers. I studied in Plovdiv in the English language schools. We had a great Bulgarian literature, language and literature teacher. We had a great 8th grade English teacher, Mrs. Kravska. She was very dynamic. She was very fluent in the language. I looked up to her a lot, and I think that I'm trying to be like her. I've always tried to be like her. I'm a bit skeptical about the word role model, just because I don't think there is one role model. It's more like worshipping people. Actually, I like to feel that I respect certain people. I want to know that I want to be like parts of them, maybe not all of them. So Mrs. Kravska was a role model in the sense that I enjoyed being her student just because her classes were interesting. There was excellent classroom dynamics, and in this sense, I have always tried to transfer this into my classroom. You have to ask them.
Mrs. Makarova was truly a blessing to everyone that she taught.
She's an amazing teacher, yes. She was really supporting of everyone.
She was a role model. The thing is, she didn't just teach English.
She always wanted to make the lessons interesting, to engage with us, to make sure that we're not bored, and always came up with new different ways to study English. Would it be to make movies, to write stories,
to
read
make
interesting
presentations?
books. Yeah, she would always wanted to keep it interactive. And
always. And she was not only our teacher, she was our friend. In a way, when there was misunderstandings among the classmates and, among the class, she always came to help, and
she took up her time to help us when we had to apply for universities.
Always.
And
we could always count on her. That was the thing.
She would always check our essays that we had to submit and be really, really supportive and helpful.
She would talk to us about what we like, and she would guide us through, getting where we wanted. For example, if it was England or Scotland or Sofia, anywhere, yes. She always helped with everything. She was
she always believed in us.
Yeah, her belief was...
It really made us more confident in ourselves.
Yeah, exactly.
С какво ще ви запомня? Ще ви запомня с първото ви бягство, което беше много, много елегантно. Ще ви запомня с най-хубавите неща, които ми са се случвали в професионалната кариера. Пожелавам ви да сте здрави, пожелавам ви да използвате интелекта си, да правите добри неща. И до скоро!
I think the most difficult thing is writing words, because at the beginning they were a lot. One day we had maybe at about 80 words to write at home, and that's very boring. And the best thing, I don't know what's the best thing, but the lessons are very funny and interesting, and I'm keen on studying English.
I like learning new things because I improve my general knowledge, and that makes me happy.
And you?
I like the lessons because we have a very good teacher,
and they go very well.
The thing I enjoy most is probably the fact that I will be able to speak it fluently if I work hard, of course.
My favorite parts of learning English are the words. I really enjoy learning new things and how English people name them.
I imagine that most people enjoy traveling. For me, traveling is more about getting to know people, getting to know the real culture, and real culture cannot be seen when you are a tourist, because usually when you travel to see the sights, you see this better side, more like touristic side. I enjoy visiting all the places in terms of how they function, and sometimes this involves seeing the poor parts, seeing areas where people struggle. So my professional trips have given me this opportunity to explore the places I visit. Imagine the schools I go to, the homes I visit, in a sense that you get to know the real place. I've been to more than 20 countries. I don't have a favorite country. Maybe one of the countries I visited and I enjoyed a lot was Sweden, maybe because it's very different from most European countries I've been to. It's not interesting in the sense that there's a lot of socializing, but it's interesting in the sense that people live differently, maybe because the climate is so different. If you're asking me about cities, I used to think that Amsterdam was the place I would like to live in. Just because I like the free spirit of the place, with the canals and this open culture, but when I visited San Francisco, I thought, wow, right, this is like Amsterdam, but maybe a few times bigger. So I am attracted to places which help you to be yourself and to feel free, right, with who you are. It's very important to travel for one reason, at least. When you compare yourself and your value system with the value system of another culture, you really get to know yourself very well. And this challenges a lot of perceptions you have about the world, about the universe, about relationships. So one thing I really learned through traveling is that people should be who they are. A person's identity is very unique and it should be respected. I've learned that sometimes it's much better to preserve the peace than to prove that you're right, just because people have their own value system, people have their way of looking at the world. And if we want to communicate successfully, we need to kind of be flexible. So flexibility is one thing I've learned over the years. Of course, there is always the question, where do we cross the line? And this question doesn't have an easy answer, but if, for example, we're talking about human rights and there's a violation of human rights, of course, right, we cannot tolerate this, but other than that, I think that flexibility and, negotiation is the key to harmony in human relationships. I have a favorite quote which kind of sums up my philosophy about conflict resolution. I know that for conflicts to exist, right, there are at least two sides, Students often complain about their teachers not being fair. Teachers often complain about their students, not learning properly. We complain about the Bulgarian government not doing their job. The Bulgarian government is probably complaining about us citizens not doing a proper job. You see, what I'm trying to say is that for any misunderstanding, conflict, tension in the world, in the workplace, in the classroom, right, there are at least two sides. And this is the reason why I like this quote, because it sums it brilliantly. It takes two to tango, right? Yes, to tango, right? This beautiful dance tell us the idea that if we want to be elegant in the movements of the dance, we need, to do our job and do our fair share of the work.